What happened there? Hey everyone, welcome back. Looks like we got another one up on the lift, as you can see behind me. I'll show you guys what I'm getting into. Just keep watching. Well, we got the Mustang up on the lift today, and hopefully we don't find a whole lot going on underneath it, but our main goal is just to do a basic oil change. Guys, if you're up in the air about getting yourself a lift in your garage, you know, that's kind of the point of this video is, you know, just do it. It's really a huge benefit to have one. It makes a lot of jobs, I won't say fun, but so much easier. And I guess enjoyable would be a good word for it. Especially, you know, I'm getting a little bit older. I don't like crawling on the ground nearly as much. So the fact that I'm able to just stand up and do this work is it's pretty amazing, honestly. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and drain this and change the filter, and it really should not take long at all. This pan I got from Harbor Freight, and it's a really good system. They have a cheaper version of it. I really prefer this one here. It's all metal. I have done quite a few oil changes since I got the lift on just different vehicles, my own and friends. And again, like I said, it's a lot more enjoyable. We'll go ahead and let this drain and speed it up here for you guys, and we'll move on to the filter itself. So guys, when you change the oil in your car, make sure you remember to take the oil out of the back of the trunk before you lift it up, because it's way easier to do it when it's on the ground than having to get a ladder. Just figured you'd enjoy that. Now they're all nice and drained, I'm going to go ahead and put the plug back in. That all looks good. I'm just going to snug it down here a little bit, and then I am going to torque it. They call for like 19 foot-pounds, so probably just do 20. These are really soft pans, so you definitely don't want to crank it. You risk damaging the threads. It really doesn't take much to keep it from leaking at all in these. Okay, so there you go, guys. That's 20 foot-pounds. On these click type, like, this is not a very loud click type, so especially on these lower foot-pounds, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes when you're there. You know, sometimes just to be on the safe side, I will just put my bigger one on there. And maybe that's what I should do for a lot of these lower ones anyhow, because this is a lot more accurate anyhow. So yeah, we're right at 20. So we're good there. We'll move on to the filter, get that drained, and that should be it for underneath there. The filters are very easy to get to on these cars. They're kind of right there in the front. So we're going to go ahead and get this spun off here. And you can see it kind of looks like it's a brand new filter already, but I kind of baby this car, so it doesn't get driven a whole lot. But I do like to change it and get it ready for the season. We're gonna let that drain just for a minute before we spin it the rest of the way off. If you keep spinning that filter, it just makes a big mess. Gets all over the filter, all over your hands, and on that hose right there too. So we'll let that drain for a minute and spin it off the rest of the way here. We should be pretty good now. Shouldn't make too much of a mess. We're gonna go spin this off. Sit that in the top of the pan. Let that filter drain a little bit. And we're gonna go ahead and put the new one back on. Probably my, or at least one of my favorite things about the lift, to be honest, is these oil changes. If you do it right, you don't get a drop of oil on your garage floor, because the pan can come right up to where it needs to be. Now, not every car is the same. You know, some of them will have, I don't know, cross arms or, you know, various obstacles under there which the oil just has to drip on. Stupid engineering, but for the most part, a lot of these are pretty easy. They're out in the open. It doesn't take much to get to them, so you can put the pan right up there underneath. So that looks pretty good. Got that hand tightened on there real nice. Nothing at all on the hose. We'll go ahead and get the jack stands off, and then we're gonna go ahead and lower it down and fill it up with oil, because we are done. Time to let her down. But first, we must go up. Oops. Man, what happened there? So guys, we ran into a little snag with the lift. I've used it quite a few times. First time I've seen this happen, but luckily I was paying attention, and I don't know if you could see on the video how the car was going. One side was coming down, the other one wasn't. Well, what happened was the lock on this side, which has two screws, it looks like they stripped out a little bit. I did try to tighten this back up, and the screws won't tighten the way they are. So I'm gonna have to re-tap those and get some bigger screws, get that fixed. Not too big of a deal. For now, I have this lock with a ratchet strap, so this should let me get the car back down, but just an important reminder to make sure that you're always paying attention when the car is going down. Now that we have the car down, we're just going to go ahead and fill it up with some oil. This engine takes 6 quarts. It's the 4.6 liter in this model year. So we're going to go ahead and fill it up. But boy, what a routine oil change could have been a disaster. Again, make sure you're always paying attention. We'll fix the lift. That's not really a big issue, honestly. I think those screws should have actually had nuts on the back of them, but we'll see if we can get something better in there. I think the threads just were not tapped right from the factory, but that's a problem for a different time. We'll get it fixed up. For now, we're gonna get this car back on the road. We'll go ahead and start it up and check the oil level after it settles down after a minute here. We'll go ahead and check the oil level, make sure it looks good. And this oil change is going to be done. We are right on the line, so we're good. Guys, that wraps this video up. We got the oil change complete. We avoided a minor disaster, and all that's left is a little bit of cleanup here, and we'll fix this lift here. If you guys are curious, stay on just a few minutes longer here, and I'll show you the end result of the lift being fixed. But if not, until next time, take care. If you stuck around and want to know how I fixed this, it is the next day. I did come back out here, and what I ended up doing was I re-tapped these holes, both of them, even though the one was still tight, the other one was definitely, the threads were kind of gone. And to be honest, when I put this bracket on, the one actually did not tighten up nearly as much as the other one. I didn't realize, but maybe it was stripped at the time and I didn't know it. So I think what happened was it just popped out, just eventually using the lift a few times. And when this top one popped out, it caused this whole thing to shift sideways. And you know, if it doesn't have tension on here, then this lock is not, this lock up here is not going to open up with that handle correctly. And that's really what happened. One lock was locked, which would have been this side over here, and then the other one was not, and that's what caused it to shift. But I'm pretty confident that these are tight now. I tapped them to the next size up, which happened to be standard. They were a metric size, so I tapped them to a 1/4 inch threads, 1/4 by 20, and I put lock washers on them because I found the right size bolt, and I also put Loctite on them as well. And I'll show you the problem. I would love to put nuts on the other side of this, but if you come around the other side of the lift arm, this is the other side right here, and they're sticking out just a wee little bit. Not enough to get a nut on, obviously, but if you put a nut on, the problem is the carriage rides right there. So there is not enough space behind this to clear a nut on the back because it rides up and down this channel here. So you can't put a nut on the back here because then it would hit that as it went up. So for now, they're tight. I have no doubt that those are gonna stay in. I cranked them really tight this time. The threads, after I re-threaded them, re-tapped them, turned out really good. What I did also do, because the top ones are the same way, there's one on this side, one on the other side. I didn't tap those out with the bolts yet, but what I did is I took all those screws out, I put blue Loctite on them, and resealed them. They all tighten up really good. I just don't like the fact that they're a screw head and not a bolt. So, I got a big screwdriver. I was definitely able to crank them good. I think they'll be okay, but something to watch in the future. So, some people may say, well, it's a cheap Chinese lift. There's a lot of cheap Chinese lifts out there. A lot of name brand Chinese lifts out there too. It just happened that the threads on this particular hole just were not tight enough, and luckily I caught it in time. So I appreciate you guys sticking around, and like I said, I'll see you on the next one.